The following is a statement from the Nathan B. Stubblefield Foundation Board of Directors. Most of our national institutions are being dismantled, including public media. We stand firm in our mission to provide a platform where beautifully diverse voices come together for a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. We remain a haven for the community through our programming, music events, and outreach. We thank you for your continued support of public media like this community-supported radio station. More information can be found at wmnf.org.
Walks like an animal, talks like an animal, must be an animal. Come hear the animals, talking animals, talking animals. Walks like an animal, talks like an animal, must be an animal. Come hear the animals, talking animals, talking animals.
This is a dog.
Meow, 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 meow,
Welcome to Talking Animals Christmas Eve edition. My name's Beverly. I'll be sitting in for Duncan today. I'll be back next week as well for the New Year's Eve edition. I want to let you know today's guest is Michael McCarthy, fabulous drone operator, naturalist, protector of the environment. He's going to be giving us the gift of great visuals of the bay and the Gulf, things that ordinary humans don't see. And I'm so excited. He'll be on in about, another 10 minutes. No, not that long. He'll be on very soon. We're going to get to a little comedy from Joshua Johnson. For those of you that are out of town and have hired a dog walker, be mindful of their potential to become a big star. Here's Joshua Johnson from his album, I Like You.
I wrote for The Tonight Show last year, which was dope, but a lot of people don't know that I was at my breaking point right before I started working at that show. Because the same day that I sent off my jokes to be read at Jimmy Fallon, see if I could work there, see if they wanted me, I had to interview to be a dog walker. I'm gonna say it again for anyone who doesn't grasp the gravity. I had to interview to be a dog walker. And the worst part is that they interviewed me like it was a much better job than it was. They were like, so what is it? What is it about you that's special that we should let you walk Phoebe? What is it that you do that no one else can do when you walk that we should let you walk Phoebe? What qualifies you to walk Phoebe? Legs! Both legs! It's a schnauzer, it's not gonna pull me. I'm overqualified by having all the body parts. Now, I didn't get it. I didn't want it, but I didn't get it. Are you serious? Did you watch me walk away? That was pristine walking. I didn't trip or anything. Who walks better than me? So even when I got the job at The Tonight Show, and I was like
pushing through the revolving doors at 30 Rock into this dream job. In my head, I was like, I could walk a dog.
I'd like to thank Joshua Johnson, more specifically the Tampa Theater and Joshua Johnson's management, for giving WMNF Talking Animals tickets to give away during the fund drive. And I know a lucky listener out there grabbed them and enjoyed this show. Again, my name's Beverly. I'll be here talking to Michael McCarthy from See Through Canoe momentarily. I did want to remind you at this time of the year, if you're falling short of your needs for pet care, you can contact the Humane Society, Tampa Humane Society, Pinellas Humane Society. They have pet pantries for pet foods, and Mike can help you out with your pet needs. Before I get Michael on the phone, we're going to hear from Fever Ray, The Bottom of the Ocean. And there's a reason I'm playing Fever Ray, and you'll find out in a few moments when Michael's on the line.
Oh, 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 oh,
You there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. We're listening to Fever Ray, Bottom of the Ocean.
Oh, cool.
And you know what a ray fever is, I believe. Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Again, we are going to be speaking with Michael McCarthy. I've been describing you as a drone operator, but I know there's much more to your story than that. But I did want to get off right at the beginning of our interview. If you listeners have questions or comments, they can text the studio at 813-433-0885 or email dj@wmnf.org. Welcome to WMNF, Michael. And let's get off started right away with where you do your drone operating from. What general areas are you photographing?
I mostly fly in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area, but I wander all over the state very consistently. I'm on both sides of the coast constantly, but I focus on this area.
Well, we've talked previously, but I wanted to let listeners know that what drew my attention to you was a Facebook, random Facebook post that popped up of this enormous gathering of cownose rays in the Gulf.
Right.
Absolutely
awesome.
Fantastic. And you went into some detail about how you estimated the size, I guess the dimensions and everything. So if you want to give us a little bit of detail about that, but we were just listening to fever ray, which is the proper word for a gathering of rays, specifically Kauno's rays. So,
that's very appropriate.
Yeah. So let's hear about how you came across this huge amount of rays, and give us, the listeners, an idea of the scale of this photography that you did.
Sure. Well, I was on the lookout for the rays because I've been filming these ray migrations for well over a decade. So I knew they would be passing through the area any day now, and I was looking out for them. But I was totally taken aback by the size of the gathering this year. It was just so epic. I mean, just massive. And again,
what, just for the visual, the mental image, about how big do you think it was? Approximate. I know you can't count the little critters because they're on top of each other, but what dimension do you estimate the gathering was?
Yeah, I think I can paint a pretty good picture of that too. It was one heck of a memorable experience. And mornings were by far the best. I was able to stick with the group for literally almost a month. Every day I was filming for a month. Mm-hmm. And in the mornings, when the sun was hitting the group just right at that 10 o'clock morning sun, the whole Gulf just looked like a big sea of bronze, just undulating, and then with the rays' wings moving all at the same time. It was just mesmerizing, absolutely mesmerizing.
I totally agree. And if you would give listeners the location, where they can find your drone videos. I believe it's YouTube.
Oh, sure.
Fill that in.
Yeah.
If folks want to log on and follow along, if you would, Michael's going to give you the page they can find that at.
Right, sure. I'm on all of the social media channels pretty much. So if you go to Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, whatever, and just type in See-Through Canoe, that's where I post all of my videos.
Okay. And
everything on the See-Through Canoe social media pages is all footage taken by me. So, but as for those rays, to estimate the size of that, visually looking at it, it was just as far as you could see, pretty much. I mean, it just in all directions, it was massive. But then to actually get an accurate idea of the size of it, I took some still shots from my videos, and I overlaid a grid pattern on the still shot, and then I would just count the number of rays in one of those grids and multiply that number by the number of grids to give me a much more accurate idea. Because in looking at that video and in being there especially, I'm thinking I'm looking at millions of rays, literally. Mm-hmm. That's what I would have guessed just looking at it. It was that big. But when I actually did the numbers and an actual proper count, I felt like the number was somewhere around maybe 100 to 200,000.
I'm sure it would be
100.
Extremely difficult to get a precise count of something that's moving, and their medium that they're in's moving. Everything's moving. So I tell you, if folks will find that, it is an absolutely fascinating thing. And as a lifelong resident of the Tampa Bay area, I was just astounded. I know, people are familiar with stingrays from mornings on the beach. cow-nose rays kind of are exactly what the name describes, a funny-looking little creature. I think they grow up to a few feet in width and wingspan.
Right.
And they're very common. I think they even migrate or travel up into brackish water that I've seen. So that's a little bit of information on cow-nose rays. You photographed, again, I just feel like our opportunity to talk and to share your experience with the WMNF listeners is the best Christmas present I can come up with. And you've put so much care into the work you do. But if you would just describe a little bit more or a few other types of wildlife you've seen from your drones.
Sure. I mostly, and the important thing, I guess, that to me is when I go out there, I often go out there with the intention of filming something specific, but it's usually something completely different that ends up being the thing to film that day. So I'm always staying open to what's happening, but typically I'm filming dolphins and sea turtles and manatees. Those are my favorite things. And with the dolphins, there's a ton of really cool feeding activity that takes place in this specific area. Such as mud ring feeding, where they'll make a circle of mud sediment around a school of fish with their tails, or fish kicking, that's my personal favorite because it's just so dramatic. A dolphin will basically do like a roundhouse kick with its tail and smack a fish, and they'll knock these fish like 30 or 40 feet into the air. You see a fish somersaulting through the air 30 feet high in Florida. It just got kicked by a dolphin.
Wow.
Yeah.
From how you describe that, I mean, is that usually a shallow water activity? I mean, I guess they're corralling the fish into a shallower area.
Yes, both of those techniques are shallow water dependent, and that's exactly where you'll usually see them.
And I'm going to guess if somebody wanted to see or make an attempt to see something like that, they'd have to be in a pretty stationary, a boat maybe, or from the beach. I know I've seen something very similar to that off of Caladesi and Honeymoon Island, but it was a very long time ago, and there wasn't nearly the development and population that we have now. But I still remember it to this day, how fascinating it was to watch the dolphins herd a school of fish into to where they could maneuver them and have a good meal.
Right. Yeah. You can see as far as the dolphin feeding behavior here, you never know where you're going to see it, and it's just as likely that you'll see a dolphin kicking fish or doing mud ring feeding off of any given dock, anywhere in the intercoastal waterway, literally anywhere, or any dock in the bay, the bayous. You never know, but it's a very commonly used technique in this area. So, and I film it. I think about half the time I see it, it's happening somewhere in the intercoastal waterway. So the intercoastal waterway here has a ton of stuff going on in it. It's always murky water, but a ton of stuff going on.
Well, that leads me into one of the reasons I was so excited to talk to you, because from your drone footage, I've seen things that, being here my whole life and having spent time on the water in my childhood, that I'd never seen. I mean, I've seen large gatherings of rays, nothing like the footage that you posted. Another thing that this was many years ago, I forget what they're called, but the really gigantic jellyfish, like the saucer-sized jellyfish.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. And I can't remember the name either. It's totally escaping me. Maybe moon jellies.
That sounds right. I mean, just enormous, the size of a serving platter or extra large pizza, swimming around in just massive amounts in the bay. So again, to the listeners, there's stuff going out there in our own backyard that we're totally unaware of, and Michael has provided some footage of it that you can see, whether you're an able-bodied person or you're kind of stuck at home for some reason. Please check out See-Through Canoe on almost every social media platform, but I particularly like checking it out on Facebook and YouTube.
Right.
Let's get back, or let's take a step back and let listeners know how you got started in this endeavor.
Well, as far as the wildlife itself goes, that was all due to my father. He got me interested in wildlife just as early as I can remember. He would take me canoeing literally every weekend. I don't remember how old I was, but I was probably, it must have been maybe 10 or 11. I don't know. But, and he would take me to museums, natural history museum and places like that. So that really fostered my interest in the wildlife thing. And then as far as the drone part of it goes, I never had any interest in learning how to use a drone. The last thing I wanted to do was learn one more piece of technology. I just didn't. But I knew that the value of what I could see with a drone would be worth learning how to use one. So I decided to, get a drone well over a decade ago now, I guess, and it was definitely one of the smartest things I've done, because it really does open your eyes to all the things that are going on. From when you can see everything from an eagle's perspective, you see a lot.
Bird's eye view, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I think of drones as being relatively quiet, and I don't know if the sound would translate underwater, but I would think that that's a huge advantage, too, is the relatively quiet aspect of it.
They are quiet, some much more so than others. And the one I use is probably the quietest one on the market. And it's also got telephoto lenses, which is good because as far as the wildlife hearing the drones underwater, they do. They can. Even most of the fish are able to notice that there's a drone hovering above them. Whether they see the shadow or they feel the vibration, I'm not sure, but a lot of the marine life is aware. So it's really important that you don't get too close to what you're trying to film, and that you use telephoto lenses. Because, basically, if I'm trying to, if I see some dolphins and they're doing mud ring feeding, I really want to get a good video of that. But if I end up just zooming right in there and getting real close with the drone, then it's a sure thing that the dolphin's going to hear or see the drone, and they're going to stop doing what they're doing.
Right.
And then I've lost the shot, and I've disturbed the wildlife. Both, no good. So a telephoto lens is really important when you're working with the drone and trying to get good wildlife videography or photography.
Is that something that you buy a specialized part of the drone? I mean, I'm totally informed on exactly how drones work, except that I know they hover around and people do tricks with them, but this is a wonderful use, a positive use, and a valuable use for a drone operation. So, if you want to go into a little bit more detail about how the telephoto lens might operate, and I assume you, from where you're stationary, roughly that the drone's going out a certain distance from where you're at?
Yeah. Usually, as far as the stationary, to work backwards there, I'm actually often, maybe half the time, I'm in a boat flying, so I'm not always stationary. And the telephoto lenses, some drones, almost every drone out there has a camera built into it, but some drones have really good cameras built into them, and of course those drones cost a lot more money. The one I use literally has 3 cameras built into it. It's got a wide-angle lens, it's got a medium-range telephoto lens, and then it's also got a long-distance, like 7X telephoto lens, all built into the same drone. So it just depends on the drone. But the price, like I said, if you're going to get one for filming wildlife, you're probably going to want to spend a little more money than you would a cheap one that you can do tricks with.
And the aspect of being able to basically cast your drone out into the middle of the Gulf, and you never know what you're going to find. I just find that so intriguing and fascinating. But I know you do research, and
Right.
Maybe elaborate on that a little bit more. Like if you're hunting for a specific shot or specific group
Right.
of animals, how does that?
Well, I've been taking notes on everything, all of my marine life observations, literally for decades now. I started taking notes when the Commodore 64 computer came out in 1984, I think. My father got me one of those Commodore 64s, and he mentioned that I should start documenting the fish I catch. And that just eventually led to me also documenting the wildlife I see. But anyway, it's because of those notes that I'm usually able to find the things I want to find. That's how I know not just where to go, but when to go there, which is just as important as the where.
You mentioned the migration aspect of this, and I'm trying to think of how to phrase it, but I don't think the average person thinks of wildlife, or not wildlife, but sea life migrating, except maybe in the exception of
Right.
like whales. We know about the great whale migrations, but that's fascinating as well.
Yeah. I think, there was a Disney movie not too long ago. I can't remember the name of it, but it was about the ocean, and they talked about migration in that movie, and I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes to the fact that the marine life is also migrating. And what's, aside from the fact that a lot of different species of fish, as well as seabirds, migrate, another interesting thing is regarding the migratory habits of the marine life is dolphins and manatees. Both dolphins and manatees, some of them migrate and some of them don't. And there's no rhyme or reason to that. For example, if you go up to a northern climate, if we're talking about dolphins up in Canada, they don't migrate any more frequently than dolphins that are in tropical climates do.
Okay.
So it seems to be, at least with dolphins and manatees, it seems to be largely a matter of choice or habit, how they were raised. If their mother migrated, then they're going to migrate. But not all of them do it. There's the ones that do, for example, the dolphins that migrate, they call those migratory dolphin. The ones that don't, we call resident dolphin or locals.
Okay. I know frequently I've seen reports of the people that protect the bay, the estuary program, other marine programs that do dolphin counts, and I suppose they would get accustomed to knowing the groups, the pods that are residents of the bay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing. Oh, go ahead, please.
And they probably also, if they're counting local dolphins, they're probably doing it at a specific time of year when there aren't as many migratory dolphins in the area. That way they can get a more accurate count of the locals. Now, I'm not sure of that, but it's a fairly educated guess, I suppose. But thank goodness, though, for all of those different organizations that are working to keep Tampa Bay clean. There's quite a few of them, and they are all just out there killing it, doing fantastic work.
Absolutely. I've had the pleasure of speaking to the estuary program and the work they're doing, and the shoreline restoration folks, and
Right.
invaluable service that they're providing.
Yeah, and those are long, hot days out on the water too for those volunteers. They're not just out there playing.
Right. Well, I appreciate, again, the care and the thoughtfulness that you've put into this. I'd like to call you an amateur naturalist and an amateur marine biologist, but you've put a lot of work and a lot of hands-on experience in. But this it's not your day job. I think you're doing it for the love of the environment.
Right. No, it's definitely something that just feeds my soul. I feel like I have to do it. I don't have a choice. I'm just driven that way. So.
Well, I think once people are able to check out your YouTube and Facebook, they'll see why I'm so enthusiastic about the work you've been doing. I've seen posts and some articles about the use of drones to protect wildlife. We've talked a little bit about documenting, but we spoke previously about red tide outbreaks and how do you find red tide outbreaks before they've reached the shore, and what kind of information can you give to wildlife officials?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of big advantages that drones bring towards rescuing and just towards a better understanding of the marine life in general. They could be, for example, really useful in doing marine mammal counts. When you can count things from an aerial perspective, it sure makes it a whole lot easier. But as for the red tides, a drone perspective can also give you a much better idea of the size of a red tide, as well as how badly it's affecting the marine life. Every now and then, when I'm flying, I'll see something too that warrants stopping my flight and calling FWC or something. Like every few years, I might see a manatee in distress, or a couple of years ago, for example, on our last red tide, I was flying and I saw a sea turtle that was about a half a mile from shore, and it was obviously in distress. It wasn't able to submerge itself, and it was very lethargic, and it was just kind of floating with the wave action, clearly in need of help. So I took some GPS coordinates with the drone, another useful thing. So I noted its GPS coordinates. I brought the drone back, and I got on the phone with FWC, and they mentioned that Clearwater Marine Aquarium was closest and best equipped to get out there soonest. So reached out to them, and they were out there. That was really something to watch. The Clearwater Marine Aquarium people out there doing a rescue.
Wow.
They got out there impressively fast after I called them, and they had a team of like 6 to 12 people out there, and they got out there. They put the turtle on a stretcher, and they hauled it from the water's edge to all the way to the van, and took off to the CMA facility. And but it was just it was really neat to watch, because I was obviously seeing a bunch of pros at work. They'd done that dance before, and they knew exactly what to do. And they called me. What was really nice was they didn't call me. I'm sorry. They emailed me about 2 or 3 months later with an update mentioning that the turtle had been fully rehabilitated and was being released on such and such date, which was really cool.
Oh, the follow-up is great to hear. I mean, that you made a definite difference in that turtle's life, and really contributed to everybody listening right now, because I'm just grinning from ear to ear thinking about that. I did. You mentioned the sea turtle out in the Gulf. I believe you said you've spotted sea turtles in the Bay, and that was a total mind blower to me, because I didn't even know saltwater turtles ventured into the Bay.
There's a ton of them in the Bay, way more than anybody seems to realize. Most of them are green sea turtles, and they're usually, what to look for is they're typically about 2 to 3 feet around. They're a little more circular than most sea turtles. Most sea turtles are a little bit oval. The green sea turtles are circular, and they have a lighter color shell too. But if you just pick almost any spot in the Bay where the water is about 8 to 12 feet deep and has a grass bed, if you just sit there in a kayak for about 10 or 20 minutes, you'll probably see a turtle surface. You got to be motionless, though. They're really skittish.
Okay. Well, I know Upper Tampa Bay has the grass flats. I know.
You want to find the deepest grass bed.
Okay. Yeah, and I've actually learned from speaking with the estuary program that Tampa Bay is actually considered fairly shallow as bodies of water go.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The majority of it, definitely. It's an ideal habitat for the green sea turtles.
Let listeners give, if you would, another visual. I love the sea turtle visual. But I believe I know you had a drone video of a hammerhead shark chasing or going into one of the fevers of rays. If you could just give listeners a bit more of a visual of that, because that was absolutely astounding to me.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to me too. It was really neat too. I'm sitting there focused on flying and getting a good video of a group of circling cownose rays. It was a pretty good-sized group of maybe, say, 1 to 2,000 rays, and they were making a tight circle, and the circle had a lot of depth, too. It wasn't just on the surface. It was like it was basically a spherical group of rays.
Okay.
And so and that alone was really cool to see, and extremely rare to see them circling like that in a group that large. So I was filming that and very focused on filming that. And as I'm staring at the screen filming that, a hammerhead shark charges right into the school, and I swear to God, I was probably just as startled as those rays were, because I was just not expecting that at all. So, I probably jumped a little as I'm sitting there flying. But
from a safe distance as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm still jumping.
Right.
It was so startling and so unexpected, and I was just so focused on what I was seeing and filming it properly, and then bam, suddenly there's this big hammerhead shark just plowing through, and rays were scattering everywhere. He didn't get one though.
That's the happy.
They're really hard.
Yeah, I know hammerhead sharks have to eat, but we don't need to see. I'm joking.
Right.
Again, we're talking to Michael McCarthy with his endeavor called See Through Canoe, YouTube and Facebook pages. Let's see. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. What is the most common question you get asked?
I think the most common thing I get asked is, where did I take a certain video? And I'm exceptionally protective about where I film. I never disclose the exact location of any of the footage I take, just partially because, the wildlife does not need people announcing its exact location on social media. We've all seen what the result of that is. And then the other part of it is just that it just means everything to me to be able to go out to some of these places and not see a bunch of people in boats and stuff running over the wildlife or harassing it or what have you.
Yeah, scattering them.
Being alone with it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a beautiful image. I know that you have a few videos that are kind of funny, entertaining, of somebody in a flotation device or just out in shallow water, and a manatee or ray swims right by them. Whether they're aware of it or not, it's kind of hard to tell, but that's a great visual to see from above too.
Yeah, those, it's funny to me that those are the videos that get the most views for me. I've had one of those videos, for example, literally got over 200 million views.
Congratulations.
Just a ridiculous amount of views. Whereas other videos, the videos that I think are my best, such as I got a video of 4 dolphins kicking a fish at the exact same time. 3 of them, 3 dolphins kicked a fish at the exact same time, all of them fairly close together. I feel like that's by far my best video. But the amount of views that video will get will just pale in comparison to other footage that involves some sort of human element.
Right, yeah.
That's just what people really love to see and share the most.
Well, it's from my point of view, we've got relatives from Indiana that are completely unaware of what goes on in the water. I mean, less aware than even I am. And I think that's a good way to introduce them to the Gulf and to the Bay. My goodness, I am so privileged to be able to speak to you. This is Talking Animals on WMNF. Our guest is Michael McCarthy. We're going to have to say goodbye in a moment, but repeat, please, where listeners can see your work, can find your this passion of yours.
Sure. Just go to any of the social media sites, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I post the most consistently on Facebook. And just go, look for See Through Canoe Company.
All right.
And that'll be me.
Okay. And do you have any special projects coming up?
I do. I'm working on getting some footage for a TV documentary. But I can't really talk too much about it until the project is done.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
No, of course they don't want to let the cat out of the bag too soon.
Exactly.
But I'm going to tell you, absolutely, we're going to invite you back to WMNF, and hopefully you can come to the studio and we can share our beautiful station with you, and maybe take some live calls when Duncan's available. It's been my absolute pleasure and privilege to speak with you today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we haven't covered that you'd like to make sure people know about.
The only thing that I'd really like to make sure people know about, is, since we're on the subject of wildlife, is to practice passive observation. Meaning, when you're out there on the water in your kayak and you see a manatee and it swims up to you, don't reach out and touch it. Just sit there and observe it. Passive observation. You'll have the best wildlife encounters you can imagine just observing things.
I love hearing you say that. For us that grew up watching Flipper and, the animal shows where they were essentially pets, that kind of infected. Right. And like you, I grew up with a father that was totally engaged with wildlife at different levels. But yeah, just to be able to sit back and watch, it's a beautiful thing.
Right. Yep. Exactly. It's what it's all about.
And thanks to you, people can sit back in the comfort of their own home and check out your fantastic drone footage. And you have to promise me that you'll make time to come back when the cat's out of the bag and talk about that. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to have to say goodbye now. I really appreciate your time. And
it's been a pleasure.
Happy holidays. Best to your father, who I know you've said was a huge influence on you.
Yep.
Well,
thank you very much, and enjoy your holidays, too.
You too. And I've got a song queued up for you, just for you. This is Endangered Love, the saga of Barbara Manatee on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. Nice talking to you today.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry, the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. We join Larry as he follows the tragic saga of Barbara Manatee in the daytime drama Endangered Love.
Barbara Manatee, you are the one for me. Sent from up above, you are the one I love.
Please don't cry, Barbara. You're a nice manatee. You've been so good to me. But I must go into the world and do noble things for the good of all. And you can't come because you don't speak French. Au revoir.
But if you leave, Bill, who will take me to the ball? Who's going to take me to the ball, Bill? I have a new dress and shoes, a new manatee lipstick. Who will take me to the ball? I'll take you to the ball, Barbara Manatee. Please don't go.
I must.
Don't go.
I must.
Don't.
Must.
Don't.
Must.
Barbara Manatee, you are the one for me. Sent from up above, you are the one I love. Barbara Manatee, I'll be your mon ami. I'll take you to the ball. I hope you're not too tall. Bill, I've learned French.
You have?
Mais oui, je suis manatee. See?
Oui, oui, mon ami. I always knew you could. I really hoped you would. Now can we go into the world and do noble things for the good of all?
Yes, but first, Bill, will you take me to the ball? Oh, Bill, will you take me to the ball?
I can't dance.
You can't.
No.
I must go.
Please don't go.
I must.
Don't go.
I must.
Don't.
Must.
Don't.
Must. Barbara Manatee, you are the one.
Larry, what are you doing?
Jeff, watching a little TV, Bob?
Well, maybe you should read a book.
Yeah. Okay.
This has been Silly Songs with Larry. Tune in next time to hear Bill say
Barbara, I've learned to dance.
Oh, Bill.
That was Veggie Tales Endangered Love, the saga of Barbara Manatee. Thank you again, Michael McCarthy. Thank you to the listeners out there for supporting WMNF, for supporting Talking Animals over these many, many years that Duncan hosts the show. I'd like to encourage you to check out talkinganimals.net. It's Duncan's personal show page, and you can find all of his shows listed there. A very searchable search engine for topics, guest name. You can search by topic, guest name, animal species, which leads me into what I'm going to go out with in a moment. I do want to encourage you to be kind to one another, be kind to animals, and come back next week and in 2026 for more Talking Animals. We're going to leave you off with Earl the Squirrel from the band Pangolin. Pangolin is a band out of Orlando. Pangolin is also the name of the fascinating creature who was the topic of Duncan's show on July 9th. He interviewed a biologist from South Africa live on air on WMNF. So we're going to say goodbye with Pangolin on Talking Animals 88.5 WMNF.
This is Austin with Chapters Health System with a public service announcement. Do you have a plan for your pet if you get a serious illness? Chapters Health System helps every pet-owning patient and family ensure their pet is well cared for through the Pet Peace of Mind program. From dog walking to vet services, with Pet Peace of Mind, Chapters Health has you covered. For more information, go to chaptershealth.org/petpeaceofmind.
You're tuned to 88.5 WMNF Tampa. Stay tuned for NPR News.